Assalamualaikum class 9 students. Assalamualaikum class 9 students. Bete, in previous lecture, we have discussed about the malnutrition and the causes of malnutrition. Okay, and page number 156 was left. That was about the effects of malnutrition. Okay, so before starting digestion in human, I will discuss with you the effects of malnutrition. Okay, it is given on page number 156 in your book. Okay, so the effects of malnutrition, as we know, what is a malnutrition? It means reduction of food in the body. Okay, so what are the effects of malnutrition? They were left, sorry, that was famine. Okay, that was famine. Describe famine in the major cause of malnutrition. Okay, so famine was left. We have discussed effects in last lecture. They were starvation, heart diseases, constipation, and obesity. Okay, today we will discuss page number 156. That is about the famine. Okay, so what if first of all I will discuss the introduction of famine. What is that? Famine is the lack of enough food to feed all the people living in an area. It means there is lack of food which do not fulfill the needs of the people living in specific area. So famine is the lack of enough food to feed all the people living in an area. Most terrible famine of the 20th century. So I will tell you what were the most terrible famine in the 20th century. First was the Ethiopian famine. It was from 1983 till 1985, and the North Korean famine. It was happened in 1990s, and they were the most terrible famine in the 20th century. Now we will discuss what are the causes of famine. First point is very important: unequal distribution of food. So due to political and administrative problems, the food is not equally distributed to the different regions of the world. This is very valid point, and this is very important point. Due to political and administrative problems, if government is not taking proper actions, so due to that, what is happened? Due to that, there should be not equally distribution of food in different regions. So the result is that there is always surplus food in countries like America, UK, and Canada, etc. And at the same time, people have nothing to eat in countries like Ethiopian, Somalia, etc. Okay, so what was happened? If government and administration is not responsible, if they do not take proper actions to distribute food all over the country, so because of that there should be unequal distribution of food. So because of that, what will be the result? It is always surplus food in countries like America, UK, and Canada, and at the same time people have nothing to eat in countries like Ethiopia, Somalia, etc. And the second cause of famine is drought. So what is a drought? First of all, I will discuss the definition of drought. A drought is a period of time when there is not enough water to support agriculture and human needs. We all are from, definitely we need vegetables, we need rice, we need many things from the soil. So these all things come from the soil in the form of crops. Okay, so if there is lack of water and deficiency of water do not promote the agriculture activities, so due to that the human needs cannot be fulfilled. Okay, so what is a drought? A drought is a period of time. It is given in your book, mark in your book. It's a definition of drought. A drought is a period of time. It is the period when there is not enough water to support agriculture and human needs. Okay, now we will discuss the causes of drought. What are the causes? It is usually due to an extended period of below normal rainfall. We all know every country has a specific rainfall in their countries. But if the rate of rainfall below to specific requirement, it can cause a drought in that country. If rain does not come due to any weather condition, it directly affect on agriculture. So what are the effects of drought? It decreases or even stops the crop yield, resulting in famine. So definitely, because we are discussing the issues of famine, so if rainfall should be decreased, it can cause to stop the crop yield resulting. Definitely crops will not grow. If crops will not grow, so because of that, people do not get proper food, and that's why famine will be increased. Third point of famine is that which can cause of famine, that is a flooding. So first we will discuss definition of flooding. It occurs it occurs due to so what is the problem of what is the effect of flooding? It occurs due to more than normal rainfall or due to weak water distribution system. Rivers and canals overflow their banks and destroy the soil quality of agricultural land. This is very true. We all of know if we have to grow the crops, we need a fertile soil, and definitely soil needs plenty of water. But if the land is getting excess water, which is not necessary for the plants, so because of that, it can destroy the plants, it can destroy the crops. So over flooding and lack of water both affect the growth of crops. So here it is given, it is occurs due to more than normal rainfall. If there is less rainfall or due to weak water distribution, and if there is not proper system of irrigation, okay, if there is no cross flow, what will be happen, the rivers and canals will be overflow due to more rainfall, okay, so because of their banks and destroy the soil quality of agricultural land. So what are the effects of a flooding? It becomes impossible to grow crops immediately after flooding. So the bad effect of flooding is that after flooding, this is not easy. This is not possible. It will take long time to grow the crops in that area. Fourth point of famine is increasing population. This is also very valid point. In the overpopulated regions of the world, large populations overuse natural resources to grow maximum food in order to meet the problems of food storage. Okay, to meet the food storage. So what will be happen? Overuse natural resources to grow maximum food in order to meet the problems of food storage. It leads to dry and infertile lands and depletion of resources of famine result. Increasing population. Definitely, we all of know day by day a population is going to be increased. So if population will be increased, we need more housing societies, we need more roads, we need more hospitals, colleges, markets, and other necessary things, etc. Our needs should be increased. So because of that, what will be happen? The people will clean the land. So if they clean the land, so there is a lack of fertile land in the country. Because of that, no crops will grow over there. So it leads to dry and infertile land. Definitely, if population will be grow, so we have to accommodate that people. So how we accommodate? It leads to dry infertile land. So definitely we clean the land, and definitely agricultural land will also be clear, and depletion of resources of famine result, and it can causes of depletion of resources of famine result, and because of that famine will be increased. It will support the increase of famine. So in page number 156 we have discussed some points, okay, about famine. Okay, what are the major causes of famine, okay, how famine promote the malnutrition. So in which we have discussed some points. First we have discussed unequal distribution of food. Second, we have discussed about the drought. Third, we have discussed flooding. Fourth, we have discussed increasing population. I hope you understand it. Now we will start page number 157. This is your new topic, digestion in human. I'm sharing the screen with you. You can see in the screen, digestion in human. First of all, mark over here. This is very, very important topic of chapter number 8. Many short questions and mostly long questions comes from this part. So you have to understand from the first step of this topic, okay, digestion in human. You already know about that we have different system inside our body. Among them, there is a important system which is called digestive system, which help us to digest food inside our body. So this is very important and play very important role. And if we take a review of digestive system, we all of know that it is started from your mouth. Okay, first food goes to your mouth, then goes to your epiglottis, then goes to esophagus, then stomach, and then goes to your intestine. And ultimately the intestine is the part of the digestive system in which the food is ultimately absorbed in the walls of intestine, which are called villi, and then they go back to the bloodstream, and the undigested food moves towards the large intestine. Then it goes into your colon, okay, and then goes into your rectum. It is stored over there, and due to muscular movements, then it is eliminated from our body. So this is the summary of your digestive system. Now we will discuss according to your book what is given. So first we will discuss some definition of digestion. Okay, so what is that? Digestion is the process in which large and non-diffusible molecules of food are converted into smaller and diffusible molecules that can cross the membrane. First of all, keep in your mind, we all of know we have very narrow arteries, veins, and capillaries inside our body. Okay, and all cells which are inside our body, they all have their cell membranes, and these all cell membranes are very thin and elastic. So, digestion is the process in which large and non-diffusible molecules, and we all of know we take food in the form of loaf bread, we take food in the form of chicken, meat, cereals, and different types. So definitely these all particles are in are large and non-diffusible molecules. So when they enters into our body, so the digestive system help to break them into smaller and diffusible molecules that can cross the membrane. Okay, so then we discuss the phases of digestion. So before starting the phases of digestion, I will discuss with you which is given in your book. Our cells require oxygen, water, salt, amino acids, okay, in simple sugars, fatty acids, and vitamins. Yes, we all of know our body required these things on daily basis: oxygen, water, salt, amino acids. Amino acids means in the form of protein. Simple sugars means the sugar which we get, and daily fatty acids like butter and cheese, and vitamins. So these can cross cell membranes to enter cells. So when these particles cross the cell membrane, that enter the each and every cell inside our body. So amino acids, simple sugars, and fatty acids are rare in our environment. Keep in your mind, amino acids, simple sugars, and fatty acids are rare in our environment. So such substances are usually parts of larger molecules. Okay, so what are they? They are the larger particles of our food. If you keep in your mind, If you keep in your mind, amino acids, simple sugars, and fatty acids are rare in our environment. If you keep in your mind, in chapter number 1, in molecular structure, we have discussed that proteins, simple sugars, and fatty acids, they are consist of large molecules. So substances are usually parts of larger molecules like proteins, polysaccharides, and lipids, which cannot cross the membrane. Yes, these things we have discussed in chapter number 1, when we have discussed level of organization, in which we have discussed the atomic level, then we discussed the molecular level, in which we have discussed that there are two different types of molecules: micromolecules and macromolecules. Macromolecules are those which are in large size and which cannot cross our cell membranes easily, and micromolecules are small which can pass through cell membrane easily. So which are the large molecules? Uh, they are proteins, polysaccharides, and lipids, which cannot cross the membrane. So there is a need of converting such large and non-diffusible molecules into into simpler and diffusible molecules. Okay, so this is, I have told you in the form of definition, that digestion is a process of converting large and non-diffusible molecules into smaller and diffusible molecules. Okay, I have told you this one into your definition. Okay, so this is the function of human digestive system, that they convert such like large molecules into smaller molecules that they can pass through the that they can pass through easily from digestion. So after digestion, who is connected with my phone? Stop your internet. So after digestion, what is happened? The diffusible, the diffusible molecules from the digestive system reach body cells through blood. As I told you, ultimately when the food ultimately becomes a part of our small intestine, and then it is absorbed in the walls of small intestine, which are called villi, and through villi it enters directly enters into our blood. So here there are assimilated to get energy and to synthesize our own structures. At the same time, the indigestible part of food is eliminated out of our body through the process of defecation. I have told you in simple words, we can say the part of the food which is important and healthy for our body, it ultimately absorbed in small intestine, and through villi it enters into our bloodstream. But the part of the food which is not important for our body, which is indigestible, okay, it is eliminated out of our through the process of defecation. So a process through which this is eliminated from our body, that is called defecation. Definitely the eliminated food stored into our large intestine, and then it goes into our large intestine and then goes into our rectum. It is stored over there, and due to muscular movement then it is eliminated from our body. So in simple words, the nutrition in humans comprises of the following phases. Okay, now we will discuss these phases. So these all phases are very important. They always come in as a your MCQs and plus short questions. So write in your book for MCQs and for short questions. So your digestive system consists of some phases. First is called ingestion. What is ingestion? The process of taking in food. So how do we take food inside our body? We take food inside our body through our mouth. So ingestion is started through our mouth, and which parts help to digest the food? In our mouth, our teeth grind the food, and saliva, in which amylase enzymes are present. They produce saliva, which roll up the food and make the food softer. Second process is digestion, the process of breaking up complex substances into simpler substances. So this process is happened inside our stomach, and we all of know in our stomach acid is produced naturally, and the function of hydrochloric acid is that to kill unwanted germs present on the food, and some important gastric juice are present inside our stomach, which roll up the food and convert them into liquid form. Okay, and the third phase of digestion is absorption, diffusion of digested food into blood and lymph. Definitely when food convert into liquid form and ultimately goes into our intestine, and so digested food into blood and lymph, so then food becomes the part of blood and our lymph are also the part of our blood. Then comes to assimilation. Assimilation means conversion or incorporation of absorbed simple food into the complex substances constituting the body. Converts or incorporation of absorbed simple foods. Once the food is absorbed into the small intestine, again it goes to the process, and again the food enters into our intestine and reabsorbed over there. It means the part of the food which are left and which are not absorbed by the intestine but are important for the body of a person, they are reabsorbed into our body, into the complex substances constituting the body and make our body cells. And the last one is defecation, which I have discussed. It is actually the process of elimination of undigested food from the body. It means it is a process in which elimination of undigested, it eliminates the undigested food in which your large intestine and your large intestine, rectum, and anus, they are responsible for elimination of food from the human body. So keep in your mind, these 5 phases are very important for your MCQs and short questions for your board exam. So first is ingestion. It is started the process of taking in food. Digestion, the process of breaking up complex substances into simpler substances. Absorption means diffusion of digested food into blood and lymph. And assimilation is conversion or incorporation of absorbed simple food into the complex substances constituting the body. And defecation, elimination of undigested food from the body. So these are the 5 phases which are very, very important, which play very important role in the digestive system. Okay. Now we will discuss the human digestive system in detail. Okay. So it consists of different phases. First, I will discuss with you what are these different phases. First is given alimentary canal. So it consists of different phases. So phases of digestion, okay, which we have discussed. Now we will discuss. It is consist of alimentary canal. It is alimentary canal, and alimentary canal further divided into some important features which consist of oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, okay, glands associated with alimentary canal. Then these glands are liver, pancreas, and 3 pairs of salivary glands. Okay, so we all these things discuss in alimentary canal. So first we will discover what is alimentary canal. It is started from your mouth till your anus. Okay, so there are many things are important inside it. Alimentary canal. The digestive system of human consists of a long tube that extends from mouth to anus. Okay, so it is starting from your mouth till your anus. This tube is called alimentary canal. Its main sections are oral cavity. Oral cavity means your mouth. It is starting from your pharynx. Definitely, we all know pharynx is a voice box, and pharynx and your esophagus, they are near to each other. So pharynx. Okay, so at that time when we taking food inside our body, at that time pharynx close its tube, and there is a esophagus. It is a food pipe. Then this is connected with your stomach where it goes and convert into liquid form. Then there is a small intestine. Ultimately the food is digested over in walls of small intestine, and then undigested food goes into large intestine. So these are the sections of the alimentary canal. First is keep in your mind in order: oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, and large intestine. So in addition, there are many glands associated with element. So at the time when food is going to be digested, along with our alimentary canal, very associated glands also working with alimentary canal. So these are in the form of 3 pairs of salivary glands. I have told you, if when we take food inside our teeth help to grind the food, and salivary glands can put saliva into the food to make it soft. Then another gland, which is a pancreas. Important enzymes are produced in the pancreas which help to digest the food, like protease, carbohydrates, lipase, amylase. okay, and a liver. Liver is also a gland, and the important function of liver in our body is that they taken out dead red blood cells from our body. So these all are sections of alimentary canal. Okay, so we will go through the structure and functioning of digestive system by assuming how a bite of bread, roti taken with some dish like mutton is digested, and how small molecules like amino acid, simple sugars, fatty acid, vitamins, salts, and water are provided to cells. Okay, so this line you can understand. I have told you in this page, above this page, that in our food there are some complex molecules, there are some large molecules which do not easily digest in our body. Okay, so they are, these larger complex molecules should be broken into smaller parts. Among them there are some amino acids, proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates, and lipids. Okay, so in elementary kalan, which we discuss the procedure of digestive system, we will discuss if you are taking a bite if you're taking a bite of food, and this food consists of roti and some dish like mutton. Okay, there is a dish of mutton and roti, and you are taking a bite. So when this food enters into your body, so how amino acids present in this food, simple sugars and fatty acid and vitamins, salts and water, how they are converted into simple molecules, and how they provide energy to our cells. So these things we will discuss in next page. So come to the next page. As we discussed that elementary canal consists of some sections. Okay, so because of that, the first section consists of oral cavity, pharynx, and esophagus. Okay, so we will discuss elementary canal, the first section of elementary canal, oral cavity. Okay, selection. Okay, selection of food, grinding, definitely helped by teeth, partial digestion. Definitely this is roll up with the help of saliva, and then it goes to the next step. So we will discuss first oral cavity. Oral cavity is the space behind mouth and has many important functions in the whole process of digestion. So there is many important functions of our oral cavity. So definition of oral cavity is that oral cavity is the space behind mouth and has many important functions. So now we will discuss the functions of oral cavity. Okay, so it has first important function is food selection. Okay, the first important, you can see underline for your short question in your book, the first important function. These are from here the functions of oral cavity is being started. Okay, so the first function of oral cavity is food selection. Food selection is one of them. When food enters oral cavity, it is tasted and felt. If the taste of mutton suggests that it is old, we reject it. If teeth or tongue detect some hard object such as dead, we also reject that bite. The senses of smell and vision also help oral cavity in the selection of food. So this is the first stage of oral cavity, and this is very important. Okay, if you are taking a bite of roti and mutton, okay, and if you are feeling that food is not good, it tastes not good, the meat is old, okay, and if you are feeling that there is something hard in this food, okay, and there is dirt in this food, so what do you decide? Definitely you will reject the food. So how do you reject the food? At that time, the senses of smell and vision help oral cavity in the selection of food. So how do we select the food? Actually, two our sense organs help us. First, the smell of the food and our vision. When we see the food and we attract the food. So first function of oral cavity is very important, food selection. So because of that, we select the food. The second important function of oral cavity is mastication. Underline it for your short question. This is also very important. Sometimes this question comes, define mastication. Okay. The second function of oral cavity is the grinding of food by teeth. Yes, this is true. First of all, we taste the food. We decide we have to take. Secondly, definitely when we put that food in our mouth, so teeth help us to grinding the food. And we all of know that our teeth have we have four different types of teeth. Okay, we have canines, we have premolars, we have molars, okay, and we have wisdom tooth. So these all help to grinding the food. It is known as chewing or mastication. Okay, actually, if this question comes, what is a mastication? So your definition should be like this. Okay, the grinding of food, the grinding of food by teeth in the oral cavity, in the oral cavity as chewing is called as chewing or mastication. Okay, what is the definition of mastication? The grinding of food by teeth in the oral cavity, in the oral cavity as chewing or mastication is called, sorry, I'm telling you again, the grinding of food by teeth in the oral cavity is called as chewing or mastication. So this is the definition of mastication. This is useful because esophagus can pass only small pieces. Definitely after mastication, the next step is esophagus. Esophagus means our food pipe. Definitely it is also a narrow tube. So large food particles cannot pass through the esophagus. So this is very important that this food should be broken into simpler pieces. So this food is broken into simpler pieces due to our teeth. Okay, so this is useful because esophagus can pass only small pieces. Enzyme also cannot act on large pieces of food. And there is another important thing that enzyme also affect on the food, but they do not act on large pieces of food. So they require small pieces with large surface area to attack. So definitely mastication plays two important roles. First, it break the large food particles into small particles. Why? Because enzymes do not work at large particles, so they need small pieces. So important function of teeth is that they break the large particles into small particles. Okay, and second is that this is because from our esophagus large particles cannot pass easily, so they need small particles. So because of them, mastication also play very important role in our oral cavity. Okay, the third and the fourth function of oral cavity are lubrication and chemical digestion. Okay, so the third function is lubrication and the fourth function is chemical digestion of food. So first we will discuss what is a lubrication. Okay, so look at the screen. The chewing process stimulates the three pairs of salivary glands. Definitely when you are grinding the food by your teeth and when you are chewing the food. Okay, so at that time your salivary glands activate three important salivary glands inside your body. Under tongue, the first salivary gland is your under tongue, second is behind our jaws, and the third is in front of ears. So three important salivary glands are working at the same time. First is salivary gland is our under tongue. Second is behind our jaw, and the third one is in front of ears. So to release a juice called saliva in oral cavity, saliva adds water and mucus to food, which act as lubricant to ease the passage of food through esophagus. So what is the important function of lubrication? So at that time, these three glands produce saliva. So this saliva act as lubricant to ease to become the easy to the passage of food through esophagus. That food can easily pass through the esophagus. So saliva also contains an enzyme which is called salivary amylase, which helps in the semi-digestion of starch. Okay, and the fourth function of is that lubrication and then chemical digestion. So during the process of chewing, lubrication and semi-digestion, the pieces of food are rolled up by the tongue into small slippery spherical mass called bolus. So underline the bolus. This is also very important as a short question. What is bolus? You can write as a result of mastication, lubrication, and semi digestion, the pieces of food are rolled up by the tongue into small slippery spherical mass called bolus. We swallow bolus and push it esophagus through pharynx. So what is happened with us at that time? What we do, we swallow. Actually, we swallow the food, okay, and push it esophagus through our pharynx.
So if you see the diagram, this is a soft palate, okay, this is a hard palate, this is our tongue, okay, this is the upper part of our mouth, tongue, this is your epiglottis, behind your tongue, okay, and this is a trachea, this is your windpipe, and these are your muscles, and this is your esophagus. So this food enters through your mouth, roll up with your tongue, and then comes into your esophagus. So along with there is a pharynx, this is a pharynx, and there is a trachea. So they also play an important role uh, in the part of the oral cavity. So now we will discuss again. I will tell you, I will not go in the next part because the time is short and we cannot complete the topic. Okay. So today we had discussed only alimentary canal, and the first section of alimentary canal is oral cavity. Okay, and I have told you the function of oral cavity. First is that food selection. Second is mastication, means the chewing of the food. Third is lubrication, and the fourth is called chemical digestion. In food selection, definitely we take help from our two organs, which are our eyes and our tongue, which is help in taste. In second part, we mastication. In mastication, our teeth and our esophagus help us, okay, and the third and fourth functions of oral cavity are lubrication and chemical digestion, okay. In lubrication, the liquid enters, mix up with our food, and because of that it roll up the food. And when we talk about chemical digestion, and definitely at that time three salivary glands work with to make the lubrication. First is present in our under tongue, second is present behind our jaw, and the third is present in front of. At that time they produce saliva to roll up the food. So now your lecture has been ended. Inshallah, for next steps for elementary canal we will discuss in our next class. So with best of luck for your Eid holidays. Enjoy a lot. Inshallah, we will join our classes after Eid, and there is no homework for you. Enjoy your Eid, and if you have any confusion, you can ask the question. Now your lecture has been ended. Thank you so much.
एक्सक्यूज मी टीचर।
जी बेटे।
मैंने
यस
आपको
उस्मान।
एडवांस में ईद मुबारक कहना था।
अच्छा जी, थैंक यू सो मच। आपको भी एडवांस में बहुत बहुत ईद मुबारक। और आपने खूब इंजॉय करना है, और इंशाल्लाह ईद के बाद फिर हम करेंगे। और ये चैप्टर बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसको बहुत अच्छी तरह से आपने सुनना है।
ओके
ओके बेटे, बेस्ट ऑफ लक।